This is the Drew Experience, the show that's 80% combat sports and 20% everything else. Tonight, I'm joined by one of the biggest guests that I've been wanting to have back on for a while since I did my last show. That's in the past. But he's here, and he is one of the most decorated champions in Kyokushin Karate Quebec. He's a heavyweight champion representing Canada in China. He's fought in ring wars. He's fought in the Gold Cup. He is definitely this era's elite of Kyokushin practitioners. I've mentioned him many times on my show. En français, l'invité j'ai ce soir, c'est une personne qui est un gros homme, un gros cœur, un championné pour les gens, championné en Kyokushin pour Québec. J'ai donné beaucoup de compliments sur mes autres émissions avec mes autres invités. Je suis très contente. I'm very happy to say welcome back, Vincent Michaud. Bienvenue encore, Vincent Michaud.
Hi, thank you, man. Thank you for the introduction, Andrew. It's really a pleasure to be back, and let's make a great show.
I'm happy, man. Yeah, so you've been pretty busy since everything's happened.
Yeah.
Lots, we'll get there. But I feel now, I wanted you to tell me a bit about, before Vincent became the champion. Who was Vincent before Kyokushin?
Oh, before Kyokushin, Vincent was a small boy with not a big art and just a bit on the lazy side and with no really direction in life. And I started when I was young. I was about 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old, and kind of did karate on the side, like an activity that just like because I was doing soccer before and I wasn't really into it. So my parents switched to karate. And then, did it through high school, but like just on the side, never really been totally into it. And then when I got in Cégep, I started competing for real. And that's when I got like the real taste of it. Like that's fighting. That's what it was all about. Like before I didn't do any competition. And then the first time I went at it that's when it got to me. And that's okay, now I have to work hard for real. I have to do my push-ups. I have to clean my kicks, clean my punches, and do everything right. So yeah, karate was really like the way for me to focus, to find like a way to have a balanced life. So that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you've had quite the trajectory. You came up, you always were working on your tools, your strengths, but also your weaknesses to become a more complete fighter. And what was described to me when you first became a Shodan? That's when you really start to learn everything. What was that like when you realized, man, I made it? Like not made it, but you're like, I'm here.
It was kind of crazy. Like yeah, uh, when uh, when I got my Shodan, I never fought. Uh, oh well, sorry. That's it. I was doing some fighting, and I was starting my knockdown and doing stuff. I changed school too, and got I was kind of getting my my speed. Like I was getting my running start, and getting that black belt was kind of big step for me. Like I said, like karate was something that gave me like a path in life, like something to get my shit together. And getting my black belt really meant for me, and that's like a big question that I've been asked before receiving it. Like one of my sensei at the time told me, like, Vince, getting a black belt is a big step for everybody, but it doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. For somebody, it's an end goal. It's gonna stop there. They're gonna stop doing it, and they're gonna fall into something else after. For the other, it's a stepping stone to something even greater. But for me, getting that black belt was the moment in my life that I said, okay, I don't want to be just a karate black belt. I want to try to be a black belt at life. So, as stupid as it sounds, I said, okay, I need to get a good sleep schedule first. And then I need to be on point with my training, yes. But I need to be a good person towards my friends. I need to be a good person towards my family. I need to, I don't know, pay my bill on time, or any little step like that. Like do the things I have to do, and just be good at life, managing my money better, thinking about the future and stuff. So that's what my black belt like signified for me. It's like, okay, if you're able to do that, you're able to do everything else like how you should do it, you know? And getting a black belt too is a kind uh, different for everybody, like I said. But the thing about black belt is when you get a black belt, you have those stories, like from when you're little watching movie, or oh, Bruce Lee, and like those ninjas on TV, or people say, oh, a black belt is like a killing machine and you're going to be this great fighter and stuff. Yeah, it can be one of those things, but at the end of the day, it's when you become a black belt, you become a black belt in the tradition of your art. So it means that you have mastered all of the basics. You know all this stuff. Now it's time to refine it, to make it good, to push it to the limit, and to make everything nice, sharp, and crisp, even better than it is already, because you're already at a certain level. But you need then to push and to get that extra step. So I think that's really like my philosophy around the black belt. I know I kind of went to two or three direction, but I think that's how I see it.
No, it's a very important because everyone has their reasons. Like, what does it mean being a black belt for me? And like I've also had this question thrown my way too, and
Yeah, for sure.
it's for me, it's to show people that like you can't let circumstance dictate you. Like when I made that post about battling mental illness or having like
Yeah,
my challenges, I want the black belt to be a symbol. It's like you never gave up. You never gave up. Like when people said you couldn't do it, you found a way to persevere. And that's what the black belt means to me. It's to show that like I can do it if I put my mind to it and just tune out the noise.
that's it. Exactly. So that's your reason for you, and maybe for somebody else, it's something completely different. Like, I mean, I don't have any example on hand, but everybody has their reason. Maybe somebody wants to get a black belt and then move on to do something else, and then for them that was that. It was a story. They lived it. They saw the people, they meet people, and then they just go and do something else and find something else that makes them whole, and that's it. You know. But that it's so personal, and at the end of the day, it's such like a, how to say it. It's kind of like the norm that you're expected to achieve in martial art. That's supposed to be like that goal that is the same for everybody, but at the end of the day, it's not. So that's kind of fascinating. Like when you get to the people and get to talk to the people, and not just at this general term black belt, but personally what it means for you. And for somebody, maybe that meaning comes when you're blue belt. You get your blue belt, and then there's like this poof there's explosion in your brain, and okay, you get it. And then maybe for somebody, it's their green belt that they boom, they get laser focused. For somebody, it's the black belt. And for everybody, it's going to be different. But every one of those steps gets you closer to your end goal, whatever it is. So whatever the belt, you should be proud. And people are not going to judge you on the belt that you wear. They're going to judge you on what you're putting on to the table, what you bring to the table. So like there's this kid like Nicola that I was this kid is an adult now, he's a man. But I've been teaching him since he was like maybe 14 years old, and I was like 21. So I know him for a long time, and due to circumstances, like his black belt grading got delayed and delayed and delayed. So for a long time, he's a brown belt, and he wants to do his black belt, but it cannot happen right now. And the thing is, he goes to tournament and he beats some black belts left and right. And at the end of the day, he said, "Oh, look, that guy is a black belt." Like, yeah, what's a black belt to like to somebody who doesn't care about black belt? Your skills are what what we're gonna be talking about at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's very true. Like that's what it is. I mean, for me, I started becoming more focused at Greenbelt, and that's a story we'll get into later on the show when with
Sure.
like yeah. Um you've also you have really represented this province for what Quebec is as a powerhouse. And that's something that no one can ever take away from you. You went to China. Now, before we get into that, you have competed against some of the who's who's. I'm going to give some names. Mohammed Chik, my coach.
Yeah, I
Uh,
did.
Amir Benmaye from Contact Kicks, Iranian guy.
Yeah, yeah, really, really strong guy. Yeah, yeah. I got beat up pretty bad that time. To be honest, I was when I fought him, it was a Coupe des Samouraïs from Alexandre Haché. And it was a time when I was starting my school with my electrician
Mhm.
school, and I was doing school and working and doing karate like all at the same time, and I was just overworked and and I'm not making excuses. That's life, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to fight too, and came to that fight, wasn't prepared, and that day he was the better fighter, but he was a really good fighter, and I'm not making any excuses. If I would have been in shape, maybe not. He was a really really strong guy. Like he almost knocked me out. There's one kick that came, and ooh, I'm happy to have dodged a little.
Yeah. Yeah, you fought like just the who's who's. Like it's really like insane whether like you were in there. And that's something that not many people can say. And when you fought, now you were fighting, you had your wars with Mo, but then something happened to get ready for China. What exactly initiated something? Because this is really important for every single Kyokushin practitioner. It doesn't matter the organization, it doesn't matter your school. What Vincent's about to say here in his words, you have to listen to this and you absorb it, because
Yeah.
this is why we have one of the best arts. And when you put ego aside, Vincent, I want you to tell the story. Go right ahead.
All right. So basically, what happened is I was looking out the tournament in China that was coming up. Uh, I've been to Japan 2 years before that, and you know what? Didn't went my way. I lost in the first round, and I know that I wanted to go back out there on that international scene and prove my worth. I said I know I'm better than what I did. When I went to Japan, same thing. I just finished school and then I started working, and I said the tournament was coming up. I just like got the money to go and doing overtime to do it. And then maybe what I slacked on my training, maybe, but at the end of the day, I was there, I did it. But when came China, I said, you know what? We're not taking any half measure. I need to train. So I got a nutritionist. I got everything, a training plan. I was just focused on karate. And then came a couple months before. I said, I'm a big guy. I'm really kind of I'm a strong guy, and at my dojo, that was at the time. It's hard to find a training partner at your level, especially when you're doing full contact international, and you need to be prepared. So I'm fighting all those small guys, and I'm lining them up like 6 7 guys, and okay, come in a row, and but it's not the same as fighting another big guy that can take it and give it. So I went to my coach, I went to Mark, I said, hey Mark, uh, I know you're not really fond about that, but I need a training partner. I'd like to fight with to ask Mo to spar with me. And then Mark talked to me about a little bit, say, okay, like, this guy, you might gonna fight him again. Say, yeah, I know, but that's the best guy I know. And, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life and who you're gonna compete again. It could be in school or whatever. Uh, but if you need help for something, are you gonna ask the guy that's okay at it? Or are you gonna get ask the guy that's the best at it that you know? Like whose help you're gonna want? I'm gonna want the help from the best guy around. So my coach said, hey, you know what? I think I can work it out for you. So like I'm not the one who talked to Mo. Like my coach like texted Mo. I know he had this number. So he texted him and said, "Oh, Mo is like he's okay with it. He said, come on in whenever you want." So okay, good. He gave me his number, so I was texting Mo. I was like, "Oh, so that guy beat me, but like I'm asking him for help." So and Mo was really really good with it. He said, "Oh yeah, that's like super idea to do, you know." And I went over there. We trained. We sparred like 3 or 4 times, I think. It's kind of far, but that that was one of the best smartest move I made for preparing to go to China. Because what I wanted to do is prove to myself that all the training, the food, everything, the mindset that I had were ready for that, and I needed like a real like pressure test. And Mo was the guy. And when I asked that to Mo, I said, Mo, you know what? I've been to two of those big competition, never got out of the first round. Tell me honestly, can I do it? Because I know Mo like already had success outside of the country. And he told me, you fight like you fought today, nobody's gonna nobody's gonna be able to take you out of the first round. I said, good. The first round is all I need. And the reason why the first round was all I needed is because when you win the first fight of the tournament, you're already a winner. Whatever happens, you can lose the second fight, the third fight, whatever. You at least you won one, and that nobody can take that away from you. So that's it, man. That's the story. Like Mo was a really big help. He like we talked about nutrition and everything, how he did things, how I did things. Like we exchanged tips, the techniques. He told me, okay, this technique, those are your strong points. He pinpointing for me, and he got a really good eye to see like the strength and the weakness of people. So I think that's in part what makes him such a good fighter. And yeah, honestly, like at that time we didn't care. Like I was one dojo, he was with Tiger, and we just didn't care. We said, okay, we're just gonna make the best out of it. Today we're fighting for to prepare me to fight for our country. That's our country. It's both of us. It's bigger than our dojo. It's bigger than the rivalry. It's bigger than anything. We're fighting for our pride. And the big trophy, I came back, my second place. It's mine. It's my dojo. It's my coaches. It's Mo's. It's my nutritionists. It's everybody that chipped in like $5, $10 in the envelope that the dojo put out for me and gave me the day before I was going out and say, hey, just to help you on your trip, like bring us a souvenir or something and bring us a win. So it's all those people who helped me. Like it's a big pride that I have of having like achieved it, but I never did it alone, and I never claimed to have done it alone. In life, you're gonna need help, whatever it is. You should take it, and if you ask for it, people are gonna be there for you. Especially like I like to say, if you put good in the world's gonna give good back. You know. So I try to be a good person, a good sensei, a good coach, a good fighter, a good competitor, and it all came together at that point, and that's it.
Quite a story too, because you fought some of the who's who's. You fought a Russian, you knocked out
Did
a Chinese guy, you fought an
yeah.
Australian. Like, yeah, I want to ask you, we all, when anyone who goes toe to toe with a Russian, like for me, in my opinion, if you're a heavyweight from North America, it's nice to do the Japan trip. Oh, yeah, we all went to Japan. It's a great thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away. But if you really want to say that you are like not say, but if you really want to like have to get like to me, this is me in my book. If you want to be considered of the elite, you have to fight at least one Russian in your life, and you did that.
Yeah,
You fought
yeah.
an Australian too, man. So tell me, what was it like with and what was that like that when you fought these guys?
Well, it's always crazy because especially when I was in China. Like when I went alone with one of my friends, and there was Dominic Hoan was there, and some people from his dojo, and some people from New Brunswick. But from my crew, my people, there was like one of my friends, and Shen Roman was there. But like Roman was like with the big staff of Matsushima, and didn't have really time for me because of all the events and stuff. So it was kind of, you take your backpack and you go and you do your thing. You're alone, but you're not. Like I said, like you go out there and all the people that helps you. I like to visualize like when I go in the ring, there's like a hand on my back that's just like pushing lightly and say, okay, go. We're with you. We're giving you like strength. It's one of the ways that I see it. And those are the people that I carry with me. So I'm alone fighting, but I'm not alone. I got all the experience that I took to get there with me. But fighting those guys, it's fun because one of the things that I like about about the competition the most is that for once the world around me is not made of cardboard. And I say that because, like I said, I rarely have big training partners. Like right now, I'm about at 270 because COVID was hard and I got put on a little pounds. But um, and there's not a lot of big guys over 200 pounds and 6 foot that can take it. And so I always need to be like careful about how hard am I hitting? Am I like putting too much pressure? Is my training partners gonna have a good time training with me? Because that's the thing I think. When I'm training with somebody, I'm training with my friends, and I don't want to hurt anybody, and I want to have a fun experience, learn something, and I want them to have the same thing, you know. So when I go in a tournament and I'm there to fight, and the guy in front of me is there to fight, I can really go all out, There's no like niceties like, oh, I'm gonna not do a liver shot because I don't want to hurt you, or I'm not gonna it, kick you just over the knee to really hurt you. I'm gonna that's it. In a competition, I'm gonna hurt like just over the knee, and then in a class, I will hit like the side of the thigh because I know there's more muscle there. I'm not gonna go at the same speed, so that's the biggest part of it. I can like really go all out, and then to have it come back my way too. Oh, that's fun! Like when I really get into it is the first punch I receive. The first punch that I receive is like a switch flips. It's it's always like you start the fight, you move in, and then one of the guys give a shot, and then oh, it's on. So I really like that feeling that there's there's no excuse to be have. I don't need to be nice. I just need to be me. Be the best fighter that I can be in that moment. That's the most fun thing about it.
Yeah, and then you fought like so. Then you have like one video that you once showed me where it was like your greatest knockout. Like the guy was coming at you, and you just used one of your moves that it was like whoa, like it was like
Yeah.
sniped. You sniped him.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's usually what I like to do. Like especially when the guy is bigger than me. I think the one you're talking about is like the Chinese guy, and he was kind of like rushing me. So I just do like a little side step, and then my high kick goes from my back leg, and I got a video from like the same kick for about like 5 years ago, and just the difference in speed between the two video, the same kick, same knockout, but like just the speed is so much different. And the latest one, I'm so proud of that. Like that's I like the fact that I have some videos that I could like really show my improvement and some technical details, and that's really fun.
Yeah, it's very true. And then you fought who was it first, the Russian or the Australian?
I fought the Australian first it was in the semifinal, so that was the Australian, and yeah, that was a crazy fight. He had some long range, kind of a long range guy, so I had a really hard time like getting in at first. I was trying to fight his range, and then my friend shouted at me, low kicks. And I said, okay, that's good. That's right. I have to use my low kick. So, and I said, okay, I need to be closer. So I moved in, and then I kind of, his arms couldn't like extend and control the battlefield as much. So he had to be a little more closer. So that's when I kind of got him. And then I finished him with some knees, and that's it. And then we had to do a second round too. And when you're a tournament and you're in semifinal, that's your fourth fight of the day, and you have to go to an extension. You don't want to go to an extension, but you're like, okay, no, I'm not letting it slip, you know. And I just went at it, same thing. I said he doesn't want to fight. I don't want to fight, but I want to fight a little bit more than him, you know? So I went for it, and that's kind of when I hurt my foot. So the fight ends, I win, and then my foot kind of got hurt. It's kind of getting swollen up. I said, oh, that's my good foot.
Oh
Like
no.
that's bad. So I tried to go tell my friend, okay, go get me some ice. I go in the corner. I don't want the Russian to see me. Try to patch it up, and then came the final against the Russian, and I knew that guy. Like, I knew he was punching like a truck. He was a bit smaller, but like very like
He's like an ox.
stocky. Like stocky, is that the word?
Yeah,
Yeah,
stocky. He's
yeah,
stocky, very like built. Like he's got that big upper body, right?
yeah. Like made of like I don't know, like he was like a beef, you know, a buffalo, and yeah, he was like really strong. He got like those big punches, like I don't know how to explain it, but when you see it, like you understand. And I know that to win, I had to use my kicks against him, but my foot was too much damage, and I knew I couldn't like exchange punches with the guy. His punches were like too strong for me, like to just stand my ground with the damage I already accumulate. So I'm not proud of that fight because I know I was hurt and I couldn't do like my best karate, but I gave it all against the Australian to get to the final, and then my tank was kind of empty. And I'm not making excuses. That's just how it happens. And after a long day like that too, so but it's okay, man. I had a really good fight, and I landed a couple of good shots too, but yeah, it was just too much for me at the end of the day. But who knows? Maybe one day I'm gonna get him, and I'm gonna be fresh, and I'm gonna be able to put up the a better fight. But you never know what the future may hold.
You know, it's so funny. Like, there was another family there from New Brunswick, the Allaire family, Martin
Yeah,
and his boy, and you know, Martin said some very nice things about you. He was telling me, he's like, hey, he's like, tell Vince, you know, it's because of my son, because of him. Like, he gave good luck to my son, and my son felt very confident in China and did much better than he anticipated. So, man, like, you know, you put
yeah.
good out.
I remember like that day we went at the hotel to do the weigh-in like the day before. So we go there, and they don't allow coaches or anybody in, just the fighters. And I think he was 15 years old at the time. And I said, "Don't worry, I know how it works. I'm gonna take him in. We're gonna wait in together, and it's a country thing. We're gonna stick together. We're Canada, you know." So I go with him, and like we see like those Russian guys and the Afghans and the Iranians, like they all there, and they're like in chess doing jumping jacks and taking credit scars and taking the sweat off or their chest because they want to do the weight. And like, oh my god, that's not like, I'm a heavyweight, and in Kyokushin, heavyweight is a really loose term. You know, you can weigh what the fuck you want, so you can be as big as you want, and there's no problem with that. So for me, a weight cut has never been like an idea of mine, you know. But like I see those kids, and I'm like, okay, man, those kids are like, those are tryhards, like, but like not in a bad way. Like it's you're doing this, you know. And I see the kid that's with me, and he's looking at that. I say, oh, okay, that's kind of big, intense. Like it's their first big event, and you see all those countries doing all those kind of weird things. And I say, hey, we don't care about that. You know, they're gonna be dehydrated, and they're gonna have to pick themselves back up to be able to fight correctly. And they're not professional. Like they don't have like all the best thing maybe to get their strength back. And I try to encourage him and say that it doesn't matter, that you know, if you're here, that's because you're ready. And I try to motivate him too, and kind of calm his nerve. That we went to wait in together, and I think having me there could have been an help to him. But at the end of the day, it's same thing, you know. Like I said at the beginning, I didn't do it for him. You know, I just told him, hey, don't worry about it. You know, give it a little word of encouragement. Sometimes that's all the people need. You know, a little word can do big result. So there's that, and then after that, there was the day of the tournament, just doing the walkout with the people from the country. Like same thing. There was me. There was him. There was Dominic Howan's daughter that was fighting too. She actually got the second place for women teenagers. So she's really good. She's gonna be something to look out for in the future too.
Yeah.
But that's it, you know. Like sometimes just having somebody that has a little bit more experience around you can make you feel easier. And uh, you know, I try to help the people around me the best that I can. You know, even sometimes I don't think I'm doing a lot, and then people come out and they say, "Hey, you really helped me." It's like, hey, you know what? I'm happy to have helped. You know, maybe sometimes I didn't even realize. Sometimes I go to tournaments, and somebody tell me, "Hey, you know what? My student saw you fight that day, and he thought it was really cool. Now he's motivated to go fight." And so those are the kind of compliments that comes my way. Sometimes I go to tournaments, I don't even know people, and they know me. So that's like it's crazy, you know. And I always joke because sometimes I'm with my girlfriend or with one of my friends. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of a big shot here. You know, I'm kind of famous, but like it's all a good laugh. You know, I don't really think that highly of myself. I just try to do the best I can.
Exactly. No, you got it. You really have that. Like, I really want everybody to listen to what you just said there, because the ego can become a big thing. And guys like you, Mo, Michael Zimmerman, you guys are very off. You're very off the grid in terms of, like, you don't need to really post, because your actions and your accolades are what really set you apart. And it's funny. I've said this before. I'm gonna give my story how I met you. Oh my God, this was hilarious. This was so.
It's a good one.
2019. It's a good story. Yeah. It's so Mathieu Grino. I still feel your leg kicks from that day. So, anyways, May 2019, I get my green belt. I leave my old school and I become independent. So I've been independent ever since May 2019. I go to Marcotte's tournament, and I'm with Mo, and they ask me, okay, do you want to fight as a yellow belt? Do you want to fight as a green belt? And I just got my green belt, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm gonna fight with my green belt. So they come up to me and they're like, "Well, you're gonna fight Mathieu Guinot. He has a blue belt, but he's really a brown belt because he's been coming back." Like, and I said,
Yeah,
"Okay, no
that's it.
problem."
He used to do it like when he was a teenager, and then he kind of left, and then he came back as an adult. But yeah, so
I
he's a
rem-
really good guy.
I remember you were eyeing me, and I think you were like, I think you told them, you're like, "Oh shit, it's one of Mo's guys. Be careful." And
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, I told him. I look at him. I say, "Now you're gonna fight one of most students, and I don't want you to lose." You know, there. You know, like I said, I kind of got a little rivalry with Mo, but it's more like you know, it's a
"Yeah,
funny thing. I don't see Mo like I'm as my big rival that I have to defeat. Like he's not like a big bad guy. It's like, well, it's like, it's friendly competition, so it's a little something to also encourage my students, like, hey, you cannot lose to his guy, or you cannot lose to his guy. But I say that about like everybody too, so could be one of Marcotte's guy. Like if one of my students fighting one of Marcotte's guys, we're not losing to Marcotte. And then if I'm fighting against Owen, we're not losing to Owen. I'm not losing against anybody.
Exactly. It was a great fight, though. Honestly, like, it's my favorite fight to talk about, because it's like I had a proper training camp like you did. I had a proper coaching, and that was like kind of my coming out party in terms of Kyokushin. Because when I was like, before I met Mo, no one knew who I was. I was like I was just there. Then they see him with this guy like him, and they're like, oh, it's like to get acknowledgement from Marcotte, you, Cormier, Kancho Fujiwara, and some others. It was a big deal. Like, and
Yeah,
that's it felt good. Like, and that's why I feel like I really found my belonging in Kyokushin, and that's why I love about this and do the show. Like, I really want to highlight the community, and that fight wasn't. I don't care if I won second place. I got in there, and you know what? Like some say, well, what if I tune it out because no one will ever know, Vince, the trainings we had to do, the days we didn't want to go, the early mornings where
exactly.
we're like, fuck, got to train. I don't feel like it. But like I showed up, like I was showing up at minus 35, no cart to Tiger just to train. And,
That's it.
yeah, figure out a way. And that was a great fight though, man. Oh man.
Yeah,
Like,
it was an amazing fight.
oh
Yeah,
man.
I was happy about that one.
What'd you think? Be honest with me. What did you think of my pace I had? Because apparently, Cormier was like, he's like, you have a very good pace. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no, you were I forgot the word, but like you were always coming, you never like gave an air. Like I know Mathieu, like at some point his cardio was going down. I said, no, you need to. I said, okay, like don't try to do fancy, just power through, power through. You need. You're the only way you're gonna break this guy is if you're putting more strength in him. I know you got the strength, but this guy has like the energy to go even more. So just destroy his leg. That's how you're gonna stop him. But it was a
Yeah.
really good fight.
Nothing, honestly, man. Like, yeah, like honestly, after that, like someone asked me, they're like, was I think it was the Goulet boys, one of the Goulet boys, like they're like, and they're like, that's a great fight. And I just said to one of them, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, je suis Nick Diaz de Kyokushin. Je
Yeah,
peux
that's it.
prendre tous les dommages, mais ça c'est pas grave. How do you say persevere in French?
Persévérer.
Je vais persévérer. And he's
Yeah,
like
that's it.
laughing. Yeah, like I'd say my style. Yeah, when it comes to if we're making MMA comparisons, I would say like my style is a mix of Nick Diaz with Robbie Lawler. Like I'm here to fight. I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah. You go for it. That's good, man. And then, maybe someday you're gonna say, you know what, maybe I'm taking a little bit too much damage using that way. So I'm gonna maybe try to be a little bit more light on my feet, and you're gonna find a different footwork, but you're gonna find a new way to do things. So always stay open to what you see, what you say, oh, I saw that guy do that technique. I'm gonna maybe try it out. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Everybody no, and not everybody is a kicker. No, not everybody is a puncher. Not everybody is able to give a good knee. Not everybody can use elbow in a fight. But it's tools that are all out there, and if you can make them yours, you're gonna be a better fighter. You should expect to at least learn one or two things every time you fight. Change little tweaks. So the more you fight, the more little tweaking you're gonna do, and the better your style is gonna become, and the more your style is gonna become. Like at the school that I was, there was about maybe 20 black belts in total, plus a couple of brown belts and green belts and everybody. But nobody fights the same. It's not because your sensei is a big puncher, low kick guy that you're not gonna be the high kick Maigiri guy. Like you're gonna be the high flyer and you're gonna be moving all around, but your sensei is gonna be like a rock moving forward. You're gonna find what's gonna work for you, and that's it. And the people that you're gonna fight against are gonna have different styles and different techniques, and you just need to find your voice.
Exactly. And I'm very happy where I'm at. Like, honestly, like everyone tells me, you made the right decision, to stick with Mo and sometimes I go to Russo. Shout out to Sensei Russo, lets me
Yeah,
come
shout out to
by.
Sensei Russo.
So welcoming, man. He's such a good guy. But then, after that, things have changed, so you said you wanted to make a big announcement. So two big announcements. So what's the first one?
Well, since you're talking about staying with Mo and being with him and all the good it makes you, and that you've been training with Russo too. Well, most of people know, like all the people that are like my Facebook friend and the people that I was training with. Uh, I left my old school that I was 1 year ago. Uh, was kind of a personal issue with the management that was there. Like there's like there let me explain. During COVID, Something happened with the director of the dojo. He got like a medical condition and he had to leave. And that was Sensei Mark. He was my coach and the director of the school for all the years that I was there. And we had like a big friendship and like a family feeling. Is like a brother to me, you know. And we saw each other all the time outside the dojo, and we were doing barbecues and stuff. And just like a family environment, and the way we were doing things, we had an understanding. Like that's when you give your class. That's like the class that I was giving was like my class. I could do whatever I want, the hours I want, the people I want. If I want to make it a private, I do it a private. If I want to invite people, I do. If I want people from other school to come, they can come. But I'm dealing with it. It's my time slot, and I do what I want with it. That was the deal. And then when COVID happened, like everything shut down, and okay, people were doing classes in the park and stuff. Me, honestly, I kind of got like bad ankles, like with uneven ground. I don't like to train outside because of that. I never like I didn't like the terrain they were using. Like there was like a big pound,
Oh, yeah.
a big hill. Yeah, they were kind of training on the hill. There was like roots and some rocks. I don't like it. So for me, training outside is, and I don't like the elements. I like inside. Like as a human being, we evolve and create the inside because the outside suck, and we're good inside. But that's just me. Some people loved it being outside with the fresh air and stuff. Wasn't my jam. So when the time came for to reopen the dojo and starting to train inside, I was so excited. I was like, oh, we're gonna be able to go inside to train and to go back with using our weights and all the stuff we had. Like we just need a plan to keep everything clean, to like keep the distance and everything. So I said I said to everybody, "Is hey, let's go. We can do it. We had a group chat, and people were like, oh, you know what? We can do it outside. It's less trouble and stuff." I said, okay, you know what? You don't want to restart the dojo yet. You want to continue outside? Fine by me. But then I go and I said to the owner of the school. So I go to the owner and say, hey, can I do my thing? Those are the rules that I'm gonna put in place for it to be safe. It's gonna be a small group, only people that I selected that I know that are not going out to bars and that are not like having a bad, that are wearing their mask to go to the grocery store before it was mandatory. And I really selected the people that I wanted. And so that's it. So I went on the internet and tried to find all the information, like to what produce do you need to use, the distance. I did like a big PDF dossier of all that we need to do, so that the day that people were ready to come back inside, because it was getting cold outside, everything would have been done already, and nobody would have need to tweak anything. The formula will be there. And he said, okay, that's good. He saw my plan and said, everything's fine. Good. So I started training with my group and we're having a blast, in those COVID time that we cannot see anybody and it's bad. It was those 2 trainings a week that just like gave us a little light of hope. So we're having such a blast. And then when it came to the cold, it was too cold outside, so they started back coming into the dojo. So I reduced to 1 class a week, and then to let the other time spot to the other teacher. And then at the same time, the government gave us the right to do sparring. The 4-person cells that you will not never change. You don't go train with any other person and stuff. That was the rule. So in my class, we were 12. So I made group of 3 and we started training together and stuff. But in the other regular classes, they weren't doing that. They were all doing the no contact and everything. And the reason about that was because it wasn't they weren't doing classes inside for 2 months already. They were still learning the system that you need to clean the floors between everybody, between every class, clean the doors and all, take person temperature, take the the presence. Like it was like the system they had to learn it. So they were not ready to implement like the next step, you know. So I say, okay, you learn, and when you're gonna learn, you're gonna be able to jump and go to the next step, you know. And then one day I received an email, like super corporative email, like your class are no longer in effect, blah blah blah. And it I kind of felt like an employee, like a pawn, you know. It's
Yeah.
like that's never how I did karate. I never did karate as an employee of somebody, like we're working for you. No, I do karate as a passion. You know, I never made a cent, or maybe I did a couple dollars here and there for somebody that gave me a tip, let's say, and who brought somebody from the outside and say, hey, you want to try it? Okay, like I'll fee just to say like I there's somebody from outside that's coming in and I can make it. But every student that were with me were people that already had uh, tuition to the school. Is that it? Yeah, they were already paying for the school, and so it was part of their subscription. And then that the email said that my classes were stealing a student from the other from the rest of the curriculum and everything. Yeah, yeah, you know. And it's kind of complicated to explain like that, but that you get the gist of it. Like, and that I was no longer allowed to teach my classes, and it kind of was weird. I was like, okay, like that's weird. And he said he wanted to have more control over what was going on and stuff. I said, okay. So I was kind of pissed off because you're canceling my classes, and the class that I give are like a thing that I really like to do, and the people that I train, like they're all great, and we're having a good time. Everybody's like, I got a girl. She was in high school, and her mother, like, well, at first was like, "Oh, I'm not sure what COVID is saying," and made her came alone, give her a tour of the place, all the procedure I did, and she gave her consent. She was fine with it, and she was the only minor. All the other were adults, so they knew like the potential risk, but everybody liked the system that I had. So. Uh, and then that's it. I got shut down. I was like, okay. So I was really pissed because I don't like to be shut down for like kind of vague reason and the way it was done. So there was supposed to be a meeting with all the teacher that week, and uh, uh, everybody was supposed to be there to discuss how the procedure were going, how the classes were doing, maybe like exchange some tips on how teacher give different class and maybe to give better COVID class because it's not the same as a regular class, and maybe getting some ideas could be better for the students. So I said, okay, I go there and I got a bunch of things that I want to say because I felt like the way it was done, like behind my back, because I knew after that that they had meetings about shutting my class down without talking about it to me. Like they were doing moves like without talking to the person that were going to be affected by those moves and going behind my back and stuff. And I didn't like that, and that never happened like before. Like before my school was great and stuff, and then that happened like out of the blue. And then when I went to the meeting to confront like the owner of the school that said that wanted to have more control and to be in charge of things, he didn't even show up to the meeting from his own school that he supposedly wanted to have more control and to be in charge, I guess.
Mhm.
He wasn't even there. So right then and there, say, you don't even respect us enough to come to the meeting of your own school. I'm not gonna take that. So that's when I say see you later. I parked my car in front. I got all my trophy. I emptied the shelves, took my stuff, and then came back home and said, you know what? From now on, I'm independent. And then I released a statement on Facebook, and it was really hard, to be honest. Like, to leave that school was like leaving a part of me behind, because I've been training, like I said, maybe 12, 13 years at that school. And when you look at that, it's, I've, uh, yeah, 10 years, I think. Yeah, that's 10 years. And that's when I became a man, you know? Like, I started at that school, I was 17, 18. You know, yeah, I was 18. And that's it. Like, those were like big formative years. Those are the years that I decided that I was going to get a black belt, that I was starting competition, that I was starting to hang out more with adults than with kids more my age, and got like different view on the world that I used to have because I was talking to person with more experience and stuff. So I learned a lot of things. All my formative years were done there. So the day that I said, okay, I'm leaving there, it's like leaving like a big part of you behind and say, okay, I'm not looking back, you know? And yeah, that was a really crazy thing to do. And now I'm independent, I guess, until I maybe find a new home to decide where to train more stable way. And then that's it. But do, doing that, there's like everybody from the community, like they send me likes, they send me direct message, hey, come train with us, let's see if we can make something happen. Like, and one of the first one to reach me was Justin Mancini. Reached to me instantly, and he said, hey, what are you doing? Come to Russo, we're gonna have a blast. Let just like you need to move, you need to do something. He said, hey, you know what, I know Russo, I know your crew, I know you're good guys, I'm gonna go check it out, you know. So just before they reclosed everything, I went to train like maybe a week or two over there, and that's it. So that was really fun, and I met some people that I saw that I saw a couple of years back that were at that place then, and there's some other people that asked me if I wanted to come train with them, and right now since I don't have like my at home. Like I'm a nomad. There's a lot of sensei like that know over the years, like that I know they are good sensei. That I saw their student compete and different stuff and met through different events. And I'm like, you know what? I might want to try some of those cool. You know, maybe go see Perez, maybe go see Oran, go see Marcotte.
Maybe can't afford.
Yeah, maybe, you know, there's so many schools and so many good teacher, and now that I don't have like a roots in the ground that keeps me there, I kind of want to see what's out there. But at the same time, I also want to focus on kickboxing too. So there's that too. I was supposed to do my big entrance in the kickboxing world this year, but like that kind of got screwed up by COVID. So one step at a time, you know. But there's still some good things to come in the future, you know. Yeah,
All in due time. And so, not only that did you become nomad independent, and
yeah,
it's more correct.
whatever.
Like I say nomadic, and then when I say nomadic, people are like, what? They're like, what does nomadic mean? Like, but yeah, no, it's like you open up your mind, and that's
Yeah, that's
something
it.
that's really good. Like when I left my old school, I was stuck in such an old way of thinking, and it's like, and when I got out of there, everyone's like, "Oh my god!" They're like, "Thank God!" Now you're gonna really learn. You're gonna learn what real Kyokushin is. You're gonna meet a lot of minds. Like, I mean, the show. When I do this, I'm picking like I have like guys like Fogarazzi on, Darren Stringer, Wesley Jensen, Patrick Pinto. Oh, by the way, this show also, guys, if you're looking for a good Kyokushin book, I should have said this at the beginning. Forever the Student by Patrick Pinto. If you love Kyokushin and karate, amazing ebook. So shout out to Pat Pinto, who's got his own show, Kyokushin Shuffle, too, if you ever want to listen. And anyways, but you meet these minds, and when you're independent, it's like, wow, it's like I'm learning something new every day. Versus when I talk to these people, and it makes you feel, don't you just feel like it refreshes your mind and you feel better after?
Yeah, but that's the thing, there's a lot of time, like at my old school, there's one of those sensei that I have, my Shian, that actually was a sensei at the first school that I was when I was just a boy, a white belt, and he was one of the first sensei that I ever had. And then he was still teaching over there, and he's still teaching there right now, and he's one of the greatest karateka that I know. But the, everybody has his personality when they train, and when you've been training for like over 10 years with somebody, you kind of know the patterns, kind of, okay, we're going to do that thing, and then we're going to do something in those lines. And so you kind of predict the class, and that's not like a stab at him, because those are good classes. Just sometimes you've seen everything, but that doesn't mean you cannot like still learn from it. You can still get it better, with better again. And that's when it comes on your side, not on the side of the teacher, to get better. Like the teacher is going to show you something you've saw so many times, but you can still perfect it, do it even better. And the reason you're at where you are is because you've been doing that so many times, and you got so much better than the first time you were doing it, but then going to another place, it breaks the rhythm. It's like you doing like this really hard workout, but doing always the same workout. At some point, your body knows what to expect, but then you just shift one or two movements or two sets over there to change the flow, and then you do the same workout but with those little tweaks, and then you're burnt. You don't have any strength left at the end of the training. That was so hard and everything. No, you just change a little thing and you're not used to. Just do it a couple more times and you're gonna do great. So that's it. I think that's gonna be a big part of it, like trying new stuff, seeing different minds, how they work, like what like fighting wise, what kind of strategy are this school using versus this school and versus this school. And I don't want to say that like I'm gonna go spy and learn all their secret moves, because to be honest, there's no secret move in karate. Like it's been around for so long. All is there. All is on tape. All the best fighter, you can see them. All the secret move, they're right there. There's nothing hidden from you. It's the way you apply them and the way you can react to them. Sure, if you train some ways or some other ways, you're gonna be better at something and some others. But that's the thing. It all depends on you. You might know a move is coming, but if you're not trained to do the thing that you know that's gonna come, you're not gonna be able to react to it. You're not gonna be able to pull a move just because you've seen it once. You need to apply yourself. So yes, I want to see some things. I want to see something different. Like I said, I also want to focus on kickboxing. So maybe go see at TriStar what are they doing there with Sandro, and maybe I'm also at Coach Babu Kickboxing right now. And there's other school too that I know they're a great school, and there's so many places. We're like a hub in Montreal of good places to train, and everybody can find like what they want. That's for sure. Like if you're not happy somewhere, just try something else. The rule number one of martial art is have fun. So if you're not having fun, you're at the wrong place. Find something else. But at the end
Exactly.
of the day, that's what you want.
That's where I was, man. And until I got my green belt, and I said, because my plan was, so I was like, I kind of prolonged to get my green belt, but there was other reasons, I'm not going to go
Mm,
into it, what happened to
right.
that was prolonged. But my goal was like, it was so funny how I timed it. Like I wasn't having fun after getting yellow belt. Like it was like, "Oh, I got yellow belt. Okay." And when I got green belt, Mo was like, God, you know what? Like I know I always give him praise, but Mo, I thank you for like helping me plan it out, because the plan was get green belt, leave, try other places, and I'm gonna make sure I back you. And it worked out perfectly.
That's exactly, you're not happy somewhere, go somewhere where you're gonna be happy. At the end of the day, the first day you went as a white belt, what did you remember about the first class? Was it fun or was it not fun? You know, did you want to come back in a second time or did you not? You obviously came back because now you're a green belt. So there has to be something that say, okay, that's fun. If you come to your first class and you say, oh, okay, like I don't like those people are weird, or oh, you go to some place and oh no, those people hurt me, and no, that's why you should always be nice with the new guy that comes in the door. You want him to have a good time. As a teacher, yes, you want to make your training hard, and you want like your tough guy to have a good art training, like they know. But the new guy that come in through the door, you want to yeah, you want to take it easy with them. You don't want to scare them off and do like the advanced course with all the spinning kicks and all those complicated movements and stuff. You want to keep it low key, simple, and make them achieve something.
And
So that,
include them.
yeah, you include them. You say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make you hold the pad, and I'm gonna put you with one of my really good black belt, and this guy's gonna take care of you. And your job as being that black belt or that advanced belt that is with the new guy is not to say, oh shit, I'm gonna train with the new guy. You say, okay, I'm gonna make someone have fun, and if this guy have fun, he's gonna come back. Then that guy is gonna get better, and someday that guy is gonna be a good enough training partner for me. That was one of my big shift in mentality when I started to teach, because like I said, I didn't have a lot of tough guys to train with. But I said, okay, I don't have a lot of tough guys, but you see those wimps, like I'm saying that as a joke, but you see those wimps, I'm gonna make them tough. And the day that those guys are gonna get tough, maybe they can do a dent on me. So I gave it my all to make those guys good, to at the end help me. So it was selfish of me training some other guy to get better. A little.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, I like what you say. Sharing is caring. Just to say what my friend Bernardo Barile says. By the way, he's always supporting the show. When he saw I posted the picture of you, me, and him, of like you, me, and that trophy, he was like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "I can't wait to hear this one." And same with Sensei Joanne Fournier. You want to make it fun and inclusive. Like, no matter what background the people come from. Like, I had a bad senpai, and I remember when I did my first kata to get my orange belt, and he said to me, I will never forget it, what he said. And he said to me, I know I'm a hard teacher, mais je pense que tu es un peu lent dans la tête. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
And
bad. You don't say that to
no,
people.
you don't say that. And it made me feel very like, can I do this art? Do I belong here? And then,
That's it.
um, and like I said, this is not what a black belt does. Like, he was a beginner once too. You can't tell someone they're gonna fail their orange belt if they don't know the first kata. Like, it's hard. It's the orange belt is like, you're supposed to make mistakes in that. They don't want perfection.
It's basically, are you showing up? Are you showing up? Are you there? That's the orange belt. Have you stayed for at least 3 months? Like, are you coming in? Do you wear your gi like the right way? Have you learned like the really basics, like words that we use to communicate? That's the thing. And then after that, you learn on the job. You're the first couple of belts. Yeah, you might get your end. You might get carry, but at some point, let's say like green belt, that's a big one. A green belt is a serious deal. You are becoming an advanced student. That's a big breaking point for a lot of people. Like green belt is not easy to get, but once someone beats like the green belt, like they usually are on the good track to go far. Yeah. But like you said with your bad sensei, I got kind of same experience, but not me. And that's like, it's, I don't really like that because it involves my brother. But like when I was at my school, I tried to get my brother to come and train because we had some common friends training there too. And my brother used to do karate with me when we were young, and he was a brown belt, and then he had to stop because school and stuff. And then I said, "Hey, come on, say come train with us. It's gonna be fun. You know, you got like uh, your schedule for work doesn't always work, but hey, come in when you can. It's gonna be fun." And to be fair, it was fun. You know, he was coming in when he could, and but it was hard with schedule. But one thing that kind of it kind of falls on me, but it doesn't at the same time. But you know, I kind of got that repetition of the tough guy, you know, the champion, the big guy. And my brother was just coming in to have fun, you know. He didn't want to compete. He didn't want to do any of that stuff. He just wanted to be like part of the gang, you know. And there was a couple of other guy over there. I was like, oh, you're not as tough as your brother, and you're not. And he was kind of living in my shadow a little. And like he just like told me that after like he said, "Oh, I'm not gonna come back," and I kind of felt sorry about it because you know that's not how you should treat people wherever whoever they are. Like it's not because you have family tie with somebody that two people are gonna be the same guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was kind of a story that I found like, you know what, just because like you didn't treat somebody as his own person, like you put him in my shadow, like, and that's it. I had super fun training with my brother. Like it's been, we had a couple years, me and my brother weren't talking that much and stuff, and then we got back to talking more and seeing each other like almost every week and stuff. And then I went to live with him for a year, and we had a really good time. But like that part of it, like when he told me that he wasn't training because like he didn't like the way some people treat him. I was like, I was kind of ashamed because like those guys are like are my friend, but at the same time, I was like, I didn't saw it and kind of it me,
Mhm.
but you know
And when
that
mhm.
you should always treat people well,
Yeah,
whoever they are.
and like when I first met Mo and I told him that story with that sensei, like Mo was like, "You have to get out of there." He's like, that's not what a sensei or senpai should ever do. And that was when like I started to slowly like plan it out, and I'm happy. Like I'm really happy. You know, like I'm in a better spot now than where I was before. Like I really am. Like with the guys like you, Justin, I could just name a list, man. Like, you know, like
Yeah,
it feels great. And another announcement too is you become a consultant now
yeah,
for the what now? What's that announcement? I'd rather you say it in your own words because I don't want to butcher. I don't want to butcher it.
yeah. So basically, there's this thing that happened because of COVID. There's an association that has been created, the Association of I don't know I don't know the name in English, but
Say it in French. It's okay.
okay, Association des Arts Martiaux du Québec. So basically, the Association of Martial Art of Quebec, and they're a group of gym owners and teachers and practitioners from martial art that have created an association to represent basically all the martial art, whoever you are, whatever style, whatever school you go to, they want to represent everybody directly at the government. The reason for the creation of that group is because when COVID hit, um, it was kind of chaos in the martial art world. There wasn't any clear rules about sports and stuff that we could and couldn't do, and there were a lot of gray area, and it wasn't clear. Like they allowed soccer, football, tennis, swimming, and all kind of sports, but not martial art. And we're like, why not us? There's a safe way that we could do it potentially. And like people were like, it's not fair, and it's true, it wasn't fair. But the reason why the government didn't do that is because there was nobody to represent us and having a voice for us, the martial artists of the province. So what they did a group, they regroup a couple of gym owners and stuff, and they say, hey, we want to represent everybody, to go to the government and tell them, like, we want to work with you to make it safe, the safe practice, and to help people find the information they need to get the industry back up, because there has been a lot of stories of dojos and gym that had closed because of financial issues and stuff, and all the stuff about mental health and not having a community, not having any activity to do, and the loneliness of the lockdown and everything. So the big mission statement of the organization and is to help the school, to spread the information, to have a voice at the government, to have a place to find all the information needed about us, because like I said, when the first wave came in and everything closed and it told us gradually we could reopen, finding all that information was a mess, like I personally did it, and I had to look up like so many government sites and boxing federation and kickboxing federation and karate and taekwondo, and who was doing what, and somebody had some information, the other had some. It wasn't always the same, and it was really hard to figure out. And now that's it. They're providing a platform for every school to go in, to look at the updates with every information you might need is going to be there. Also, if you have question about anything martial art related, they got somebody that you can direct message, and they're gonna answer to you back. Um, I know the two president and vice president, Justin from Angry Monkey and Francis Duguay from Coach Barbu Kickboxing. They are the two president and spokesperson. I'm merely a consultant because what happened, especially at the start, there was a lot of fighting sports that were coming in, like BJJ gym, kickboxing, boxing, MMA, that were coming in, and the rest of the martial art community were kind of reluctant. They say because also they were asking people for some money to pay some legal fees, because when you're starting out, you're gonna need some lawyers to talk with the government for you to be sure that everything is legal and all the procedures that are coming in. So some people are like, "Oh, are those people ones just want our money?" And there was kind of a distrust around them. So Francis Duguay is my kickboxing instructor, and he said, "Oh, you come from a more traditional background. Do you want like to help us to raise awareness that we're also including the more traditional styles and to our cause, and that we want people to come in?" So I said, "Yeah, for sure." And he asked me, basically, I was asked to give information on how is Kyokushin formulated in Quebec, and what are the big association, and who do you need to talk to give the
Hmm.
information and stuff. And I said, honestly, it's kind of a big mess. There's a
Yeah.
lot of organization, there's a lot of leaders, there's a lot of independence. So I gave him the list of like the the, the big guys, the big senseis that I know, and I might have missed some, but the gist of it was I gave all the big names and to who to talk, who to direct. And the thing is, sometimes like yeah, I try to answer like some when people have question, and but that's it. It's just a big platform to get everybody to work together, whatever the styles, whatever you do. If you are a school owner, just a practitioner, you can become a member on their website. I'll have you maybe put a link when you do the announcement, and that's it. That's where people can join them, and their goal is really to work together with the government, not to say we want to open, you're limiting our rights, and let's riot against the government. Though that's not really what we're doing. We're really working with the government to make sure that there can be a return, and that there can be a safe return, that all the information can be shared, that everybody has the same information, and that we can move forward with that. So basically, that's the first part of it. Then the second part of it is a big part of legalization for some styles that are not 100% legal.
Oh yeah, kickboxing, like before with the PKA days, like Victorio is Jean-Yves' brother is going to be coming on next week, so that's going to be a fun time. But yeah, kickboxing, that's
Yeah, kickboxing, Muay Thai, some BJJ. I think there's like a gray area. MMA is still not legal, and it's the biggest growing sports in the world, and we have some good talents in the amateur scene in Quebec, but they have to fight in Oka, and they have to fight on the reserve, and so that's just boring because we have one of the greatest champions coming out of our from our province, like Georges Saint Pierre, and we're not even having a legal amateur scene that new talents can grow. So, and we have one of the biggest UFC affiliated gym too, the TriStar, and that's it. Like it should be legalized in some way. There's a way to do it, and that's it. That's what the organization is there for. Is there to fight for the rights of everybody. And I know I talk a lot about like fighting sport issue, but there's stuff for the people that are doing let's say more traditional style. If you have something that you want to put on the table, they're open to those idea too, like if there's something, I don't know their problem specifically, but maybe you want to get some recognition, you want to have a direct line to talk to the government and to bring your issue. That's what the association is for. It's nonprofit. It's founded by people that are giving donation, or they have some grants. Yes, talking about grants, there's also a link in the page. If you're a small business owner, like a small gym and everything, there's links to all the financial help that you can get from the government, the federal or provincial, and that's it. They just want to spread the information and to make sure that everybody can have a voice.
It's very true, and it's especially for the Kyokushin crowd, because I mean, you said it yourself when they said, "What about Kyokushin?" and you said it's a mess. Like, look, to all the Shians, senseis that like are in separate organizations or independent, the time to unite is now. You don't have to unite in Kyokushin, but to come into this association, you have a chance.
That's
So I'm saying it here. You don't have to like it, and if I lose some friends because of this, you know what? Just to those like who have an ego, put the ego aside. Shut the fuck up about association and ego. Start realizing that the longer you wait for the government to give the green light, you're not gonna get it. It's time to just take this chance. What Vince is telling you about. He's a consultant. He's a representative. He's of the traditional side of being a Kyokushin guy himself. He's represented Canada and Quebec. And I support what he's doing. Like, I support what you are
Thank you.
doing. Justin Etheridge from Angry Monkey has even reached out for me. He's gonna come on. And like
Oh,
I
that's
want it.
cool.
And if I can give, and if I can, yeah, it's funny. It's like he reached out to me. He's like, hey, he's like, I heard you have like some podcast. I said, yeah. He's like, can I come on? I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll make.
He, man, that guy, he has story, man. That guy knows everybody. Like he knows like Bass Rutten, like he knows people. Like he got like some amazing reach. Like he could get you to talk to maybe even more people and even more guests that are crazy. And he's
I
an amazing good guy.
yeah,
I went to one of his events in his gym, the Smoker, and everybody was great. We had a really good time, and
yeah.
yeah, but that's it. And like I say, I'm not like the spokesperson, but I if I can talk about it a little, I like to, you know.
Yeah, it's good you do that. And like honestly, even me, like with Kyokushin, like as mentioned, I'm not trying to ruffle feathers here, but if the Shians and the senseis want the schools to open, you have to take the help when it's coming. You
Yeah,
cannot use this like saying I'm a Shian, I'm a fifth dan. It doesn't matter about the gold stripes. It's about getting open and really having the community come back and maybe preventing, well, not preventing, but mitigating, which means mitigating means you're trying to like slow it down, the blowback from the mental health crisis that this pandemic's creating. I'm telling you, like I spoke with I always say the story, and it's just it's very hard, like that I have to say, because when I work for the job I do, like I work in like with a, like I spoke to a customer up in Septils, and I said, what's the situation like? This was during November, December, and I said, no, it wasn't, yeah, it was Septils, like
yeah,
around
yeah.
there. And he said, there's a sheriff, and like I say it in French, and he's like I said, oh, he's like, oh, il y a une crise de la santé mentale, il y a les personnes qui a essayé un suicide. C'est avant la pandémie, peut-être il y avait une chaque 6 mois ou un an par année, mais maintenant j'ai reçu les appels chaque nuit. Ah, il y avait une personne qui essayait parce qu'ils ont perdu leur emploi, etc. It's just it's nuts. And that's why, like, you know, people need community. That's what martial arts gives us. You think of martial arts, you know, religion too. Don't get me wrong. Like religion is one thing, but when you go to a dojo or studio, it's like everyone's equal. Everybody's
That's it.
equal.
Yeah, that's a big thing too. Like you're talking about everybody being equal. Like that's the association. Like everybody's equal over there. There's no one that like Firas. Firas from TriStar. Like technically, my Francis Duguay and Justin are his boss in the association, and he's the owner of the biggest gym, and and the other guy are like, I'm kind of Fira's boss. That's kind of crazy, but it's not like the boss as a like you do this, but it's like okay, those guys are the guy that started it, but like they got guys that are following them that are like big names. And also I want to give a shout out to the Kyokushin community because I know that there's already like I know that the Lamar and Perez have already joined
Good, good.
the association, and there are a couple more other dojo. I don't have all the names, but if you go on the site, you can look at all the names. There are almost 100 dojos and school that have already signed up. So if we can get that to even more school, and if the people who listen wants to take part in it, and if they have question, if they, I don't know, if they're not sure and they want to ask question, there's a place on their website that you can contact the spokesperson that are gonna give you even better explanation that I did, and you're gonna see those guys are there for you, and they're not there for the bad reason. I know those guys, and they're good people doing it for the right reason.
Exactly. No, like, and the fact that you just said those two, like Perez and the Lamars have joined, that's a big name. And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Russo's next. You know, Russo's probably Sensei Russo. I love you. You know, you're a friend, you're a mentor. Man, I always say good things, but yeah, like I think he would be one of the ones that's gonna be next because you know he's got a big voice. You know,
Yeah,
he represents West Island, Quebec, Kyokushin in a sense, and I mean, look, you know, I'm not saying like he watches this and he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. But you know what? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he's one of the ones that's on that list, maybe, or if he's going to just do it and, you know, he does it on his own time. But the
that's
fact
it.
that we have two big names does say stuff. And
Yeah, yeah, and and not just them. Like there's others too that are already there, and I mean it's only going to be beneficial for us. Already, like I'm getting some feedback that the government are there's a plan that has been deposed to the government to for the reopening. Just like right now, there just have been some plays that they allowed like in the orange zone to have private classes. So we're gonna start small, you know. As the situation's gonna evolve, it's gonna get better. It might get worse, you know. It's gonna be up and down. But you know, we take what we get and we do the best that we can with it. You know,
E-
we don't want to overreach because if they give us a little bit and we take it all, they're gonna shut us down again, and they're gonna see, oh, those guys are not disciplined and they don't follow the rules. Well, it sucks to be them, you know. But if we do the things the right way, I know we know it's boring. That's not how we do things, but we gotta be patient. You know, that's the only thing we can do. We need to move forward one step at a time. Take it easy. It's gonna get better. I know we've been saying that for a year, but man, we just need to. It's gonna get better. There, I sound like I'm saying it. I'm saying, I'm repeating, but like I've heard that for a year, but we're on the right track. And now we're moving as a solid group, as a unit, like through the association. We got a voice that we didn't used to have. So, yeah, that's it. Like we need to we're stronger together. That's for sure.
Exactly. And the other thing is too now, moving, like stronger together, um, I was saying it before and, I'm going to say it again. I've said it off the record, and, you were one of the reasons why I got good at French. And, when the pandemic began, I was saving up for a car. But then the French course that I was trying to take that was intensive and private came back to me and said, "Hey, look, we have a discount for you. Do you want to take it?" And I said, "Yeah." So I remember I was like, I messaged you, I messaged Corinne Laframboise and Mo, and I said, guys, this is they're like, take it. They're like, you guys really, and you three all said the same thing, do it. Prendre
Yeah, for
ça,
sure.
prendre l'avantage. And I was like, and I did. And I kept telling myself too, yeah, it's going to get better. And look what happened. I mean, I'm able to greet in French. Mon français, c'est très bon pour les écouteurs, pour les personnes qui écoutent parler mieux français, compris français meilleur. J'aimerais juste donner le crédit à Vince pour mais tellement Vince, parce que je me souviens, vous avez dit, ah, je pratique votre français comme je pratique mon anglais. Et ça va venir, mais mais français, c'est fort. Mais aussi, les francophones vont dire, ah, français, c'est très difficile avec toutes les grammaires, toutes les conjugations, etc. Mais
Oh, ouais.
oui, je pense que moi, j'ai aimé dans les cultures québécoises, comme j'écoute le podcast Richard Martineau, c'est le meilleur journaliste pour améliorer, parce qu'il parlait très rapide ou très lent. C'est un bon passe.
Ah, parfait,
Euh,
ça.
et je regarde l'émission, TVA toujours. Mon travail, la majorité de mes clients sont francophones. Et parfois, il y a les accents dans les régions spécifiques en Québec. C'est un peu difficile. J'ai dit, oh, fou, que vous avez dit? Mais normalement, non. Non, mais Vince, j'aimerais dire, vous étiez une motivation avec Mo et Corinne pour améliorer mon français.
Ah, ben, merci pour vrai. Puis ça fait chaud au cœur d'entendre ça. Puis tu sais, en même temps, comme que je l'ai expliqué tantôt, des fois, c'est juste un petit mot d'encouragement que tu lâches à quelqu'un, puis il y a quelque chose de grand qui va ressortir de ça. Puis quand tu mets du bon dans le monde, il y a du bon qui ressort du monde. Puis, tu sais, comme tu dis, tu écoutes la télé en français, des podcasts en français. Moi, c'est comme ça que j'ai appris l'anglais, en regardant la télé en anglais, puis en comprenant rien de ce qu'ils disent, jusqu'à temps que, oh, j'ai compris un mot, j'ai compris un autre mot. Puis après ça, ben, j'ai joué à des jeux vidéo en anglais que je comprenais rien du tout. Mais j'ai compris que si je posais sur ce bouton-là, ça faisait un attaque. Là. Oh, attaque, je sais c'est quoi. Là, ça, defense, OK, je sais c'est quoi defense. Fait un mot à fois, puis tu sais, step by step. That's how you're gonna learn. But yeah, so thank you, but you did all that on your own, and you have to be proud of it.
I really am. Did you watch? I'm sure you've seen. I did a French only podcast with
Yeah,
Dupont. Yeah, that was
yeah, that was
a.
good. But like that's it. You took your time. And what I think is that people are gonna understand that it's not your first language, and people, I think when you meet somebody that isn't speaking like their first language, like right now, my English is not perfect, but I'm trying, and I think it has a pretty good level, but
I think you're
still,
fluent. I think you're fluent.
yeah, yeah, I know, but it's not perfect,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and uh, like I'm trying to explain it and it gets worse. But if you take your time to listen to somebody and give them a chance, it's it's on your part and on the part of the other person. You're having a conversation. So if you're talking to me in French, it's a bit slower because you want to really use the right words and stuff. That's good, and I'm gonna make an effort to understand you too. And if you have it, oh, how do I say that word again? I'm gonna help you. That's it. So it's an exchange that we're having, and that's how you get better by practicing always.
It's very true, and that's why that's what I love about Kyokushin too. Ever since I did my first French podcast, like I gotten tons of feedback. People have said, "Hey, great job. Really take a." Like even Dupont said, "Good kudos to you for like
That's
doing
it. You
that."
put you put your you also you put yourself out there. You put yourself out there, open to criticism and stuff. Some people are gonna write some comments like, "Oh, you don't speak good," blah blah blah. And you know what? That's just not for them, and they're bad people and negative people. So if those people put negativity in the world, negativity is gonna come back to them, and you just don't take it in, and it's gonna be fine. You do
I
your best, and
I don't read the comments. I just don't pay attention to it.
that's
It's
it's
like
perfect.
I post and I ghost.
It's perfect. You just do that, and everything's gonna be good. And even if you see a bad comment when they say, "Well, you know what? Has this guy done podcasts? Has this guy put something out there? That guy never showed his space to do anything, and you're the one there doing it. So
Thank you.
the one that are doing stuff in this world are way better than anybody who's doing nothing. If you do nothing, you're nothing. You are what your action are, and if you're just like writing mean comments, and well, you're just a mean person. That's all you are. But if you
Exactly.
go out there and you try and you make the effort, maybe you're not gonna be the best at it, but you're gonna be doing something.
It's better. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, we want to talk about some MMA now because we got some big fights coming out
Yeah.
this year. Oh my God, 2020. I don't know. It's like 2020 ended on like a weirdly a high-ish note, and then 2021 is like Connor's fighting
Yep.
Kamaru Usman next week. Then March 6th. I am excited for that March 6th card, especially of Izzy versus Yan. And then the
Yeah.
end of March, Francis versus Stipe 2. And the winner is gonna face John Jones.
Yeah,
What?
that's like the big announcement that I was waiting for was Francis against Stipe, because Francis and Ganu hasn't been fighting in a long while, because Dana White said, I cannot put this guy in the cage with anybody that isn't good enough, because that guy is a killer. If I put him in a cage with somebody that cannot take it, there's gonna be a dead guy at the end of the day. And it kind of remind me of Mike Tyson back in the days. Mike Tyson was going in the ring and just smashing someone in 15 seconds. But at that time, the promoter like didn't care about the fodder that they were sending. All they wanted was to see KO, 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 and this was bringing money. But Dana White is a bit smarter than that. He said, this guy can be really, really dangerous, and like he has to fight like one of the top five guys, because if it's not someone that's out there, he's gonna kill somebody. And then he said, you know what? I'm gonna put it for the belt, because that's where he belongs. Against Stipe for the belt. Like there's no other place that you can put this guy and say, oh, that makes sense. No, he's he's too good for that, you know. And then John Jones that's coming in too. That's gonna be some new fresh blood. That's gonna be interesting too. You know, John is an amazing fighter. Is not that such an amazing person, but if we're just talking about the ring, you know, I'm good with him. You know, it's an entertainment. It's a show at the end of the day. So same thing, you know, like Adesanya 2 is going to be a good show against Jan. That's going to be good. Uh, Same thing with Connor that just fought. That was insane. And Chandler, that's it.
Chandler, yeah, Chandler made
Yeah,
his debut.
yeah, Chandler made his debut. That was crazy too. That guy got some good promise. You know, with the kind of the vacuum that was left behind because Khabib is now gone. You know, like some people say, oh, he's gonna come back. I don't think he's gonna come back.
No.
You know, he did what he had to do, and there's nothing else for him to do. So that's good. There's a lot of big talents, and there's Chandler that's coming. That's like the fresh blood that's gonna stir things up a bit. Connor has kind of a new attitude to him too. So how that the fight promotion is gonna work with that too, because at the end of the day, yes, we're watching a fight, but we're watching everything that happened before the fight. That's a big part of the show, of the event. There's a story to each fight, you know. When you look at the UFC countdown to UFC, I don't know, a million, you know, there's always there's always like a story, like some guy beat that guy, and then that happened. Like this guy said that thing. It's all the build up. It's a story. It's a show. It's theater at the end of the day, but it's just like violence theater, but it's fun, you know?
How do you see Stipe versus Francis 2 going? Because I think when this is just mile, I just want to say, I think Francis has a shot. And that's not like me for me to say that because I watch Stipe closely and Stipe is very well rounded, heavyweight goat, you know.
Yeah.
But I think he's just so damaged from those DC wars. I think the wars of Daniel Cormier have still affected him.
Yeah, I think that's like a big point, like that gets me to go to Francis. Like I know they fought before, but like I said, Stipe has been more active, has been through some big wars, and especially like when you're a heavyweight, every fight like has a stall, you know. And I'm talking about experience. Like when you get in front of a really big guy, they hit hard, you know. They're at some and in Kyokushin we're not even punching in the face, but when you go and like like kickboxing, and there's a big fucking guy in front of you and he smashed your faces, damn, like that, it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna hurt like for another fight. Every time you fight, like you leave a little piece of you behind. So the more fight you have at that level, the less you're there for the next one. You know, it's really rare at that level that you still get better as a champion. You know, especially at that weight. Some lower weights, sometimes you see a gem, like a fighter that gets to become the champion, and then every fight there's something new. It gets better and better and better. You know, it's kind of crazy. But at that weight, at heavyweight, I think it's pretty rare that you see somebody like getting better. They're usually like when they get there, they've been through some wars. So it's kind of harder. And after that, all the killers are coming after you. You know, there's not an easy battle at all. There's never an easy battle when you're the champ, you know? So yeah, that's going to be hard. But I think Francis has a really good shot at it, and I really like to see him be crowned. But I'm also a big fan of Stipe too. But
Yeah.
you know, it's always a good show.
Exactly. I think Francis winning would be really good for the African scene in MMA, also
Definitely.
French, because Cameroon is a former French colony. So in France, there's a lot of Cameroonians that live in France. There's probably quite a few in Quebec too, because think of it, all the former French colonies from Africa.
Yep.
So think of what that does. Francis wins the belt. That's like Mike Tyson-esque. It's like, oh, wow. It's like,
Yep.
this is
You
like,
know,
we have our hero.
yeah, definitely, definitively. But that's it. Like he's gonna bring a big wave of people that say, yeah, that is our champion. Just like when George became champion, that's kind of when MMA kind of got seen in Quebec and Canada. Like it wasn't like a big thing before that. Like it we had to get a champion to be open to that sport, you know. So that's a big thing with MMA. Once you get your champion, it's kind of easier to associate. Like you see in the USA, they got like maybe what 6 or 7 champions, I think, and then you get like one guy from Dagestan that become a champion, and like oh, a whole part of the world's open, and then you got an Irish guy, and then all the Irish are like, oh, okay, this sports, and then you come to the sport for one guy, and then you learn about 2 other guys, and like, oh, now you start to follow more, and so the sports is always growing, and there's still a lot of place for it to improve.
That's what happened to me because I got into it when George left, unfortunately. So I didn't really have the luxury or privilege of
Oh,
seeing
okay.
George. So for me, when people ask me who are the fighters that got you into MMA, the first two were John Jones and Gegard Mousasi, because Gegard Mousasi is from Iran, like my father, and that's when my father passed away in 2014. That's when I started coming slowly to fighting. And then when I started watching those two, I learned about Robbie Lawler, Wonder Boy Thompson, Connor. So for me, it was John Jones, Musasi in that order, then Wonder Boy, Connor, and Lawler.
That's it. That's good. Like you usually find one guy that interests you a little, and then you watch a card that he's on, and then oh, you see that other fight that was there, and like oh, okay, that guy might be cool, and then you look at the card of that guy, and that's it. And there's always something new. There's always something fun. You know. Also with the woman MMA, there's like
My God, we have
those
some
girls are
killers.
crazy. Those are killers. Like I'd like personally, I'd like to see bigger weight class for women because there's a lot of taller women that like are heavier, but like there could be another bigger weight class for women. I think there's not a weight class for women. Like some girls, like they starve to death, like just to be able to fight, and you're like, man, just open it up. There's gonna be people, you know, like. That's it. That's just it.
Exactly. That's very true. Like, I mean, look, you have the strawweight is kind of open with Wei Lee because I think Wei Lee's going to be a good champion. She's very
Yeah.
good. Flyweight, that's Valentina's division. Like until she decides to retire or fight Nunes for
Oh
a
yeah,
third time.
that's clean tea. That's clean cut. That's hers. Like there's
There's
nobody
like
that can do anything.
there's like the comp. There's like it's like there's the competition, and then there's Valentina who's like
Oh yeah,
up
she's so
here.
far ahead. Yeah.
Female GSP. She's a female GSP. That's what I wanted to tell you, and you might agree with me here because traditional martial arts background, Taekwondo, decent grappling, judo. She's got a judo background, decent wrestling, but then transition that into kickboxing. And she does have some Kyokushin with the way she throws those I can never pronounce stuff.
Mawashigiri.
Mawashigeri, the way she throws a Mawashigeri, she's done Kyokushin for sure. I'm
Yeah.
convinced of it.
Well, I'm pretty sure that every major big gym for MMA has some guy who's a coach that got experience in it. You know, like just here in TriStar, we got Sandro that is over there. He's more of a Dutch guy, Dutch kickboxing guy, but like Kyokushin and Dutch kickboxing is like the evolution of Kyokushin also. So it all came from Kyokushin. So it's the same roots, but at the end of the day, there's always just so many movement a human body can do. So at the end of the day, everything's gonna look like everything. So even if you say, "Oh, I'm doing a kick from that place," well, karate kicks, the true history of karate kicks, they used to be savat kicks that have been, you know. Modified with time and to adapt to a new style and a new tradition and a new rule set, and people evolve and style evolves too with them. So we're gonna, at the end of the day, MMA is the ultimate evolution of martial art because you throw everything at the wall and you see what sticks. Like when you take some higher level wrestler, like yeah, they do good in MMA usually, but they don't do good just because of the wrestling. They might use one or two wrestling moves that are really high percentage useful, and then they need the rest. You know, they're not just gonna win with that. You take a master kickboxer like Adesanya, and they say, "Oh, he's not wrestling and stuff." No, he's defending takedowns all the time, and that's wrestling. You know, defending a takedown is a part of wrestling. It's just that we don't see it as wrestling because they're not on the ground. But sometimes just knowing how to react to something is part of, you know. So uh, that's it. You know, sometimes things don't look like something, but they are that thing. It's just really hard to know when you don't have like all the information. And most of the people, like, you may say, "Oh, this guy did a karate kick. Oh no, that's a Muay Thai kick. Oh no, that's a Taekwondo kick." And at the end of the day, it's a kick. You know, the way you are telling the name of the kick or the way it moves, the technique is the same. And everybody's gonna look at something and is gonna want to associate himself with it. You see that good fighter, that super good fighter, and say, "Oh, those kicks, they're just like mine," you know, or "Oh, that punch, we do it that way," you know, and you're gonna be wanting to say it's yours because you want to associate with champions and good fighters, you know. So yeah, you can say, "Oh, that's my that it's that's technique and stuff," but could be a mix of things, and maybe it wasn't a karate kick that she was using, but a taekwondo kick, but that got modified because that taekwondo kick in an MMA setting needs to be tweaked, but she learned it in a taekwondo way. But with the tweaks, it looks more like a Kyokushin kick, but you know, so sometimes it evolves. It's like water, like Bruce Lee said. You take the water, you put it in the vase, it becomes the vase, you know. So you take what you have and you adapt yourself to the environment.
Very true. So, where can if people, so, obviously, wow, this hour flew by, and all that
Oh,
because it's
it's
yeah,
already that late.
yeah, but
Yeah,
that's what
we're
happens
fun.
when you love what you do, man. That's so. Where can people connect with you now with what you're doing on social media? Lay every platform out on the line so we can find you, so they can find you, and that way they can connect with you, and you're doing a good
Okay.
job with what you're doing. So you deserve. So I want to do what I can to support.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm on Facebook, Vincent Michaud, and on Instagram at Vince Kyokushin. Uh, if you want to direct message me, it might take some time. I'm not always the fastest guy to respond, but I'll try to. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Those are pretty much the two social media that I use. But yeah, and thank you for having me on the show. It was really fun. We had a blast. I didn't see time go by, so yeah, that was great.
It was a pleasure, man. I'll have you on any time of the day. So if you ever want to come on again next time, maybe like do a fight companion, like where we like everyone watches like a big UFC, like
Yeah, you could do something like that. Yeah, that
yeah,
would be
I'm down,
fun.
man. We'll do it. Yeah. So, guys, episode's gonna be on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, any other audio platform. Ça va être sur YouTube, iTunes, Spotify et tous les autres plateformes audio. Oui, mais juste si vous aimez cette conversation, if you like this conversation, please subscribe. Look for the Drew Experience Pod on Instagram. Drew Experience on Facebook, always welcoming. And yeah, just hit me up on Drew Nomad 7 if you are a martial artist, if you're part of the, what's the association in French again?
Association des Arts Martiaux du Québec.
If you're a part of this association, you want some airtime to explain, I'll give you the time of day. So once again, thanks, Vincent, for coming on, and we made it. We did it, man. It was
Yeah,
what a
that's it.
blast.
Yeah, all right.
All right, let me just